Yo, what up? It's B-Cide. Today, I want to talk about the moment everything really started to change for me. Now, not in some dramatic kind of movie way or overnight, but the moment I realized my body wasn't going to let me grind the same way anymore. For most of my life, I pushed my music and it was very physical, hand to hand promotion, traveling, being on the road, performing, passing out flyers, CDs, talking to people face to face. That was my world. That's all I knew how to do. And then there was this small moment when it hit me way harder than it should have. I used to do this little two-step thing when I went down the stairs. I didn't even know why I did it, it was just a habit. But one day I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I had to start using a cane. And I was standing there on the stairs. Something clicked in my head. I remember thinking something is happening to me and I don't know what comes next. That's the moment that moment wasn't inspiring. It was empowering. It was confusing, it was scary, it was frustrating, and honestly, I was filled with anger and grief because I could feel pieces of my old life slipping away and I didn't have the replacement version yet. And at the same time, I was in a bad relationship, and eventually that relationship ended because of the multiple sclerosis. I talk about it in my book, but it's part of my story too. Everything felt like it was collapsing at once, my body, my relationship, my music career, and everything. That was the moment I realized I couldn't rely on the old version of the grind anymore. Not because I didn't want to work, not because I lost passion, but because my body was forcing me to rethink everything. And that's where the real change started. I didn't have answers back then. I didn't know how I was going to keep going. I didn't know what my future in music even looked like. All I knew is that I couldn't do it the same way. Looking back now, that moment didn't end my career, it redirected it. It forced me to find new ways to create, new ways to connect, new ways to define success on my own terms. I'm not telling the story for sympathy. I'm telling it because it's real. This is what it actually looked like when things started to change for me. And even though that moment was filled with fear and anger and grief, it's also the moment that led me here. I'm calmer, more honest, still standing, still creating. Stay strong, stay wicked. It's B-Side. Peace out.